Good morning. My name is Paul Avison. I'm a product specialist for VRV Solutions. And what I'm going to show you this morning is a very quick guide to using a remote database with the PCT solution on the MAP-300. This also works with the MAP-200 as well. So it's backwards compatible with the MAP-200. So there's a couple of prerequisites that we need to have to work with the remote database. So the first thing is, so we have to have the remote database configured on the PC. So we have an instance of the MySQL database configured on this PC. So I've previously installed MySQL, which is freeware, and I have it running on the PC. Okay. So the other thing we have to have is we have to have a PCT Control Center installed and running. So within PCT Control Center, so PCT Control Center is free software. Within PCT Control Center, we have a database connection, and that database connection is connected to the local IP address. It automatically populates the port, which is 3306, and the username and password are the username and password for the SQL database running on the PC. Okay, so we have a database connection from PCT Control Center running to the MySQL database. So the other thing we need to pre-configure is we need to point the PCT application that's actually running on the MAP-300. We need to point that towards the same database. So if we click on Database, up in the top right-hand corner, you can see that we are currently connected to the MySQL server. So my PC is currently on 192.168.1.37. So that's the IP address of my PC. Again, same port number, same username, and this is the password for the SQL database that's running on my PC. So you can have a number of separate databases running within the MySQL application. So I have a couple here. So I have my Sandbox, my Play application, my Play database, and I have a single fiber database, and I have the default database as well. So we're currently using the Sandbox database. Okay, so what that means is that I can now create and manage test scripts, results, reports using a PC application rather than doing this on the MAP-300 itself, which is typically quite busy and used for used in a production application. So for example, if I go into the test scripts, so let's create a new test script. So just to be clear, I'm actually running PCT Control Center on my PC, and I have a remote connection to a MAP-300 that's actually on my desk. So the MAP-300, we're running the GUI inside a browser. So it's a HTML5 application running in a browser. So if we go into the test scripts, so I have some test scripts already configured. So let's just copy this fast IL script. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to make it a recording version of this. So I'm just going to update that. So now I have a new test script that's in my SQL database on my PC. So if I then switch to my MAP-300, you can see that if I go back into the database, I now have that 12 fiber MPO fast IL recording there. So it's not that it's copied across, but the MAP-300 and the PCT application and the PCT Control Center application running on my PC are actually talking to the same database. So whatever I do on PCT Control Center is replicated exactly on PCT. Okay, so we can then, we can then run that script that we've just created offline. So if we just go into, I already have the DUT set up. If we just click on the 12 fiber MPO fast IL recording, give it a serial number, and start the script. So my first step is just a simple fast IL step, just to screen the device. So okay, so that's failed on several fibers. So what we would typically do with this fast IL step is we would cancel the test and clean or remanufacture the connector. Okay, so hopefully that's been a very quick introduction to using a remote database with PCT.